Lately, I've been thinking about where responsibilities and duties lie in the pursuit of a fulfilling life. Growing up in a brown family, I've been told that I owe it to the people around me to fulfill these responsibilities. I owe it to my parents, type of shit. So to expand upon this thought, I will refer to two types of responsibilities. One is the responsibility that you have been given to by birth. Essentially, like a rich kid has a responsibility to run his father's company. That is sort of given to him by birth, and the other one being a responsibility that you take up by yourself. Like, for example, something that could be for me is a responsibility that I could take up to clean up my surroundings. Living in a Indian city, it's not so clean. It is not very clean. I could take up the responsibility. I want to take up that sort of responsibility if I make enough capital to, get the equipment, hire sort of people, get volunteers, type of shit. Well, that's for another day. So there are two types of responsibilities: by birth and something that you take up by yourself, by your own will. So I believe that the first type of responsibility that you've been sort of given by birth is not at all essential for a fulfilling life. Like, you don't fucking owe it to your people, to people around you, to fulfill those sort of responsibilities. Let's say if the rich kid does not take up his father's company, it's not like people who are employed in that company will essentially go broke in a fucking minute and just fucking die, right? No. When the company loses, it creates more space for other people to take up those responsibilities. Other people who, by birth or again by their own will, have taken up that responsibility to replace the rich kid. So I don't think that's necessary at all for a fulfilling life, especially when you don't want to do it. You shouldn't. I don't get the idea of suppressing your own wants to fulfill your responsibilities. Like, I believe that when a person matures, his wants will grow greater than him, right? He'll want to take up bigger responsibilities by his own will, and that is much more fulfilling. Like, because I chose to do this shit, man. I chose to take up this responsibility. No one gave it to me. I could have completely avoided it, but I'm taking up that responsibility. The problem is, when you are starting the pursuit of leading a happy life or a fulfilling life, a main criticism is that people could fall in a life of in the hedonistic treadmill, right? But the thing is, if you are continuously contemplating and reflecting upon the things that you're doing, and if you're really fulfilled, I don't think anyone can be fulfilled on the hedonistic treadmill. If you realize that you cannot be fulfilled by fulfilling these by birth responsibilities, you can also probably realize with enough time that the hedonistic treadmill is not fulfilling, and then you'll maybe move up on the ladder and start to live a life for wealth and fame. Sure, that could be that is much more closer to eudaimonia than the hedonistic treadmill is, and you essentially end up in a similar place that your by birth responsibilities put you in. Wealth and fame, that's just fucking running a company, isn't it? But this time, you chose that responsibility by will, and that company itself might not be in the same field that your by birth company that you inherited is, right? So, in conclusion, No, I don't owe it to anyone to fulfill this responsibility. No one does. The only responsibilities that I should fulfill is the ones that I take up by my own will. Like right now, I have taken the responsibility for finishing my test and getting a good fucking score and a good fucking rank in my test. And if I work towards that, if I put in the activity necessary for that, that would be much more fulfilling than, let's say, I'm pursuing law right now, so this entrance test, it would be much more fulfilling for me rather than a IIT JEE test, because I never want to be an engineer and it has never interested me. But I've always also wanted to pursue things like, being an athlete. What's that fucking thing called? Javelin throw type of shit. But I never got to do that because brown parents essentially believe that you can only fulfill your responsibilities and duties through engineering or medicine. Which, sure, it can lead to a materially fulfilling life, but not so much spiritually, Thus, I should start scripting more and really writing down my thoughts before recording myself. But yeah, well, I guess that's a responsibility that I will take on, to refining my art of recording videos and putting my thoughts out there, and that would be a fulfilling process. Hopefully, it would be tough. I would feel lethargy time to time, not wanting to do it, thinking about why I'm doing this for, why I'm doing this in the first place. But I believe that in the end, this would be a very fulfilling process for me, because I've taken it up by my own will. I'm not doing it for clout or money. I'm doing it for public humiliation.